If Danny Ainge calls up Brian Colangelo, offering the number 1 pick in exchange for Dario Saric and some other pieces, would you hang up the phone? That's what we're going to talk about today. Kyle Gaffner is here. I'm Adrian Fedq. I think it's pretty funny because it's like people want Markelle Fultz, but then they don't want to give up Dario Saric to get him. You got to give to get.
Yes, you do. And I'm right on board. If that phone call is going to happen, speculation or not, I'm doing the deal. I love the homie a lot. I think he'd be a really great addition to this team going forward. But you do have to give up pieces to get assets like the number 1 pick. And Danny Ainge probably doesn't want really any more assets because they have their own. They have Brooklyn's. They probably want to start getting established players on their team now. And Dario would be a perfect fit there in Boston.
Yeah, the reason why I'm bringing this topic up, again, going back to Philly Influencer Facebook page. So there was a comment about, is Dario Saric, why should they get rid of him? I forget exactly what it was about, but basically I was like really shocked about how just the negativity and the backlash against it. Against trading him. And like if you want a guy like Fultz, like what do you think you would have to give up? They're like, well, just trade Ja. I'm like Danny Ainge isn't gonna want Ja. You want Dario. What's the homie?
Why don't we give him Brian Colangelo? That's like saying let's trade Ja. It's like let's trade Brian Colangelo. They're worthless. They have no trade value.
So it's like I'm really surprised by that. Now I should go to the Facebook page right now. But it's like it's almost like we quickly forget what the premise of the process is. It's very simple. You need superstars to win this league. The process is all about acquiring that top 5 to 10% of the league. That top 10 player. Right? You got to get stars. Obviously, it all started with LeBron James going to South Beach and the whole trend of, having the trio of superstars and all that. Even though Boston kind of had that too before, but not to the extent of Wade, Bosh, and LeBron. So it's like people forget already. In order to get a superstar, you got to give up some pieces. You're not just going to get them for kibbles and bits.
No, and look at the trade when Chris Paul went out to the Clippers. I don't know what I'm trying to think what they gave up. I don't remember right offhand, but they gave up a significant amount to go get Chris Paul. And if you want a player like that, he's a really great caliber point guard. And look, ever since he went out to the Clippers, they used to be a perennial basement team. They were awful. I don't ever remember the Clippers being good in my day and age, ever. Until in 2007, they had that one playoff run, and then they were a bottomless pit again. But they got him. They drafted Blake Griffin. They've been the great L.A. team, and the Lakers have been the piss-poor team out there in L.A. Yeah. But if this is your guy, you got to go get him. Are you looking up to see what they acquired to get Chris Paul?
No, I'm trying to go back, and I'm trying to get to the Dario comments. Okay, so only dummies and sports talk hosts with no other compelling topics want to trade him. I'm not trading him under any circumstances. The people who want to trade him are mainly sports talk show hosts, including a few on the Fanatic. It's good talk radio, but not happening. It's dumb to trade Dario, best player on the team. No fucking way. Only the bandwagon fans that jumped on this year want to trade Dario. The true fans know what he brings. Again, it is only the morons. Like, come on. Now it's unbelievable. Like I'm like shocked by this. You wouldn't give up Dario for a potential trade up to number 1, who might be a top 10 player in this league.
Yeah,
that's weird to me.
It is, and I'm wondering do you look at it do you think they're overvaluing Dario? Do they just like?
Oh, they're absolutely overvaluing Dario because he had that great close to the season. He put up all those numbers. He was like basically 28-5 as a starter when he started, starting games. And that's what I think that's what people are looking at.
And look at it too. We had to wait 2 years to get this guy. We didn't know if we were going to see this guy this season. So I think that might placate on his value too. We waited a while to get this guy. We saw what he could really bring to the table. And it's nice to have. And as fans, we tend to do this. We overvalue a lot of players in the league, especially if they're liked. And I think he's got a huge fan base here in Philadelphia. He's a hard worker. He's a lunch pail guy. Comes in, does what he has to do, puts the spot in line. And it was great. He had a great season because Embiid went down and then Simmons. So it was kind of Saric's team this year.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I get it. He is a solid player. Don't get me wrong. I love Dario. Everyone loves Dario. But, I mean, jeez. If Markelle Fultz, if the scouting reports are all true and, like, he's the next Dwayne Wade and, if that offer on the table is like Dario and, like, that Lakers pick, like Bill Simmons suggested, I'm going up to number 1. I'm doing that.
If that's all it takes, I'm doing that too. Because I had touched on this before. I don't think that Lakers pick is going to be as valuable as it's been in the past. I'm not saying they're going to come in, tear up the West, and make it to the playoffs, but I don't think it's going to be as low as it has been over the past couple seasons. So I would try to unload it while it still has some high value.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they're going to be bad, but like from a Celtics perspective, they're not going to want to wait until 2019. They're going to want to do it now. They're going to want that pick next year. It's you got to take all that into account too. And the other thing is, like, the other people are saying, it's like, well, why don't you just give up the Lakers and the Kings pick to move up to number 1, keep Dario? But Boston, I think, is going to want players because they have all these draft picks coming up. Mm-hmm. You got to think from Boston's perspective too. It's like God. It's like, oh, you just give him Ja in this, and I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way.
I would like to throw Ja in there because they don't.
I would love to keep Dario and just trade Ja and shit. But it just doesn't work that way. You got to keep it realistic, man.
It's true. You do. And this is where it would have helped out keeping Nerlens because Boston really wanted Nerlens. So you could have actually thrown him in that trade, and it really maybe would have helped us out because, again, they need big men that can play defense, and that's what Nerlens does. So that's a decision that I didn't really like, Brian Colangelo, that we did. We talked about that. I know a lot of the fan base didn't like it because he's from Boston and what have you. But we do have to try to find a trade partner, I think, for Ja, unless we just try to stick him with the team. But he just doesn't fit in this team, I don't think. So I still think there could be a home for Ja come draft night. I think he's going to get moved.
I'm going back to I'm hoping that, I honestly, I don't think we're trading up to 1. I don't think that's happening. It is kind of like just sports talk radio right now. It's, all that. I'm hoping that you stay at 3, whatever you take Josh Jackson, even though I'm not like 100% sold on it. But you use Ja, you dangle him to maybe get into the top 10, you add a pick. And to get back in the top 10 and get Malik Monk. Like, maybe you give him our pick next year along with Ja, and maybe that's enough to get in the top 10. I don't know.
It's going to be
sprinkle in a couple second rounders too.
It's going to be enticing because you got to be careful around Danny Ainge. He's a magician there, and
no, I'm talking about just getting back into the top 10.
For us to trade back up.
Yeah. Like, use Ja with our first next year, and I don't know what it would take. Like, I'm not a fucking GM, but like Ja our first next year and like a second or 2, and maybe that can get you back into the top 10. I don't know.
And the NBA is a lot different than other sports, let's say like the NFL, where it would be easier to trade up into the first round as opposed to like the NBA because there's less rounds, so it's less value. So getting up into a top 10, which is so valued and teams don't really want to give it up, it's harder to pry away from them. I think it would take a couple first-round picks to jump back up into the top 10. And then you have to find a partner who's willing to do deals with you. The Kings we've talked about, probably not going to happen. for reasons we know. The Magic we've done deals with before, are they willing to trade with us? This all plays a part in trying to do these deals and land your guy. But if it's your guy, you have to – if Markelle Fultz is your guy and you're all in on him, you're going to have to give up assets. And I'll pose a question to you, Adrian, and everybody out there listening. You look at it to the point where, are you tired of saying, oh, we'll wait till next year, on these assets and these players? That's why I feel like it's worth the risk of getting rid of Dario to go after Markelle Fultz, because if he is a superstar, you got to go get him, and you got to go get him now, because I'm one that has believed in the process since day one. And I'm tired of saying, oh, we'll wait till next year. We'll look till next year's draft. Like, it gets to the point where you want to start moving forward and start establishing these superstars and building your structure, your team, as opposed to just looking further and further down the road.
Yeah. I mean, again, if it's realistic to get up to number one, I'm trying to do that. I am. But see, my premise too is like, I am not as high on Josh Jackson as other people are. I am a little bit scared of him. Not gonna lie, I'm scared of that jump shot. You can tell me about the 38% from three, but I'll tell you about the 55% free throw percentage, and how free throw percentage is kind of what translates to the NBA level when it comes to threes, and not your 3-point shooting in college. I mean, we talked about that in the last show. Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard. People want to compare Josh Jackson to those guys, but those guys shot over 75% at the line in college, and their games translated from three. When I see Josh Jackson's shot and all that, I'm a little bit scared that he might be Aaron Gordon, and that's what I don't want.
No, super athletic, is a freak, can dunk, can really great on the break, but look how long it's taken them. Orlando took him a couple years ago, expecting him to be a superstar, and I think it's taken longer than they expected. And because you don't know what's going to happen. It could develop, it could not. He's worked on his shot, but he's been in the league 4 years now, and it still looks a little broken. And that's what worries me. I would rather have a guy that is a sure thing and already has a shooting stroke.
Yeah. So I want Fultz, man. I want to try and get him. I mean, again, I don't know how realistic it is. I don't think it's going to happen, but if that phone rings, hey, Dario and this, and yeah, I'm listening.
I am too, absolutely. And I'm a dreamer, and I'd like to look at it, the glass half full, and think we can go up and get this guy. I wanted to do it a few years ago when we in the draft with Wiggins and Embiid, and I really wanted us to jump up there and get Wiggins. It was worth it to me to throw in that Lakers pick, our pick, and whatever it would take to go get Wiggins, because I thought he was that type of guy that could have superstar potential. Yeah. Turns out later on down the road he did, but we didn't. We took Embiid, which I was fine with. It was a calculated risk, and I'm glad we took it.
Yeah. And, you look at that potential. Obviously, health is going to be the main thing, but Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, potentially Markelle Fultz. Oh, my God.
Where's that third leg of the tripod? We're still looking for it. Dario's not it. He's a very good player, but he doesn't have that superstar potential.
Yeah, and that's why it's okay to get rid of him for Markelle Fultz.
Throw in Korkmaz if we have to, or whatever his name is. Korkmaz over the 26th pick last year. Korkmaz.
Yeah, he's a shooter though. See now I'm gonna be like a hypocritical because I don't want to include him in the deal.
Now you really like him, huh?
I mean, because he's a shooter. And we need shooters. So it's, I'd give up somebody else, for instance. I don't know who, but just saying.
We're keeping him. He's 6'8" and he can shoot. Will he ever come over here? I don't know. We'll play the waiting game like we do with Mr. Saric.
Yeah, I got to remember to call him Saric. Saric. So, all right, let's talk about Saric as a player. Just, what do you think he does well and great and all that?
What I think he does well is he doesn't do – let me jump on what he doesn't do good first before I do.
On the perimeter.
Yeah, he's defense on the perimeter he's not very good at. One-on-one down on the block we've seen he can do that just fine. Help defense, he can do that. He's shown himself. He's just very stiff in the hips. Earlier in the beginning of the season, he really struggled with handling the ball, and I think the speed of the game. It was he was still trying to catch up to it. But as time went on, he really improved it. I think he's really good at running a team. I think he could play point forward because he did that over in Turkey, and he even showed a little bit of running the offense here. I think he sees well over the defense, and I really like his shot. I think he needs to work on his post game down there. I think he really needs to improve on that too. But overall, he's an energy guy. He throws his body on the line. He's a lunch pail guy, and I love to see that. And everybody in Philly loves to see that.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that obviously stands out to me is the passing, being 6'10", the fact that he can see the floor the way he can see it. I mean, it's rare. He can kind of do what Ben Simmons can do. To an extent.
To an extent,
yeah, to an extent. Like that size combo along with the vision. I mean, it's pretty good. But the defense is a worry, and you look at the way Brett Brown's switch heavy kind of space defensive system. I don't know if he's really going to be a fit here with that. So I mean, I like Dario. Again, it's like I don't want to make this seem like that we're being negative on him, but it's he's a guy that's similar to Simmons. He's a guy that a little bit lack of defense. I don't know why people would think he's untouchable.
Maybe because they might be thinking he's a part of that core, part of that young core with Simmons and Embiid. But is he to the extent of Fultz? Probably not, because Fultz has that superstar potential. He would fit great in this system. He's got he's got length out the yin yang. I mean, 6'10", man, wingspan. I mean, that would work great with getting in front of players. I mean, God, a guy with that size at point guard, I mean, it would be great to have. And I still don't think the size matters, but with length like that, it helps in the passing lanes. He could block shots. It would be a huge upgrade to have because we need guards. He can shoot, too. He can score on all three levels, which Saric really can't do.
Yeah, it's Saric, his defense is why I think he would be more of a sixth man here. It's like. And by the way, you know that Saric also has a 6'10" wingspan, just like Fultz.
Yeah, but he's 6'10".
I know, but it's kind of funny. That was a 6'10" wingspan.
6'10".
He's 6'4" with a 6'10" wingspan. Pretty,
That's special. It's like the Greek Freak and Rudy Gobert with their athleticism and their length. I mean, it's insane.
I mean, I guess it's all a matter of perception too, because the argument for the Dario being untouchable is, well, you can still get a great player at 3. But again, it's like we're both just a little bit worried about Josh Jackson. And that's why maybe we think differently than other people. Yeah,
and with the Saric thing, too, if you have a defenseman like the Noels or the Holmes back there or the Embiids, you don't really have to worry about that when you're spacing a little bit because if they do get past him, at least you have the rim protector back there.
Yeah.
So he needs to really go to a system where he has that, and Boston really doesn't have that, but maybe they just are enamored with his ability to see the floor and the way he can score in a variety of ways too, and get the ball around to other players.
Yeah, I mean, hey, again, his close to the season was incredible. He was basically averaging 28 and 5 a night.
Yeah, it was great to see. It was fun. And coming off of the injuries with Ben, it was depressing. And Embiid, it was like, well, we can lean on Dario. Like luckily we had the 3 rookies to lean on for him to didn't really take the air out of the ball.
Yeah. All right, other than that, I mean, I don't really know how far into this show we can really go talking about this. We kind of made our points already.
Well, and I'll say this too. Is it willing for Boston to do this, though? When is he a free agent? He's a free agent in next year, right? Unrestricted.
Let me see.
Oh, and to touch back on that Chris Paul trade, I looked it up. They literally gave up nothing to get Chris Paul. They gave up Eric Gordon, Aminu, Chris Kaman, and a first-round pick in 2012. So they literally didn't give up nothing.
I'm sure that's when Eric Gordon was.
Had potential.
like before the injuries and stuff.
He had a good season this year because he was healthy, but I know coming out he had huge potential.
Yeah, I mean, I always liked Eric Gordon, but yeah, he had a good year this year.
Yeah, that's
he's here until 2020.
Oh, so we got him locked up. So it makes sense for Boston to go out and get him. So they don't really have to worry about the contract dispute then about him leaving after a year only playing there. So he's locked up for a while. Makes sense to even get rid of him. So that's not going to hurt us at all.
Yeah. All right. I'm curious what people commenting have to say because the people on Philly Influencer were very venomous. So let me see if I can pull up. Let's see if anyone thinks we're fucking stupid.
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure they do. Yeah. I mean, everyone. Yeah. Actually, not more. If of course Eric is smart. If we are getting Fultz, I'd be willing to move Dario. I wouldn't like that shit at all, though. I mean, it's tough to get rid of him. You know, I love Dario.
Mm-hmm.
I love the player. I love the homie. It just in order to give, you gotta give.
In order to get, you got to give. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's not like we're dealing with a dummy there. He's going to want something out of this deal. And I don't think they're sold at being at the number 1 pick. I think they're willing to move it because of all the assets that they have.
Yeah. Ron, I might be changing my mind about Jackson versus Monk. I might actually take Jackson over Monk now and then draft Frank Mason 3 or Melo Trimble in the second. Frank Mason third. Don't forget, we still have Furkan Korkmaz coming over. I'm not sure if he said that before we talked about him. But yeah, I like Korkmaz. I really don't want to get rid of him.
I don't know if he'll ever come over here, though.
Is that? Really? I'll have to look into that. I don't really know like the whole bullshit about that.
And me and Ron were talking earlier about Melo Trimble. I really do like Melo Trimble, but he's kind of a guard that just likes to rely on his dribble penetration to get to the rim. He really doesn't have a shot. So he's more or less nothing but a backup. I take a second-round flyer on him, though, but he can't shoot. That's the only thing.
Got 4 second-round picks, so.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Melo Trimble is interesting. I would take a flyer on him as well. He's an interesting player because I feel like he didn't really live up to the potential at Maryland.
Last year he did. This year, I don't know why he decided to come back because he would have been a top 15 pick if he came out last year.
In this hypothetical trade, are we trading Dario for Fultz? No, yeah, you got to include more than just it's more than just Dario for Fultz.
Yeah,
it's Dario and potentially the Lakers pick.
And our pick, that 3.
Yeah. So it's a lot, I think, but willing to do it.
Would you throw in our pick next year protected if that's what it took to get Fultz?
Whew, I see. That's tough. See now. See, I want to have some draft picks next year.
I do too. If we do include
like protected in
top 15,
2019, you do it the next year. So you have to pick next year, and then you have the Kings. You know,
I'm not willing to give that.
It's like, dude, I don't think Boston wants draft picks.
No,
I think they want players.
Yeah. To sweeten the deal, though, it's going to take more than Dario and maybe like Covington, and I think they would want a pick in there just for whatever reason, even if they have picks, because I don't think Dario, Covington, and let's say Ja is going to be enough to get it.
What was that? Dario, Covington, and Ja?
Yeah, I don't think that would be enough to get it. That's why I'm saying you'd have to sweeten the deal with a draft pick, with like the Lakers or ours.
Yeah, you got to include the draft pick to sweeten the deal. Yeah, I agree with that because it might be like top 5. If we somehow get number 1, do we take Ball? No, it's gonna be Fultz.
Fultz or nothing.
Yeah, it's Fultz or nothing. It's worth it. 3rd pick, Okafor, Saric, Laker pick, 2 second-round pick.
Whoever said that, I agree with you. Definitely do it. Throw all 4 of the second-round picks in there. Do it.
By the way, is it K or is it Kaye? Is it K? K Young? Every kiss begins with K?
Is that who said that?
Well, yeah, K Young, yeah. K Young and I were boys, but I don't know how to pronounce his first name, that's all. I just want to make sure I'm getting it right.
Okay, Young, I would definitely do that.
That's a lot. But
for Fultz, though, I know you're a huge
like,
Fultz
I'm
supporter.
cool. Like it's the first one, K. Okay. Cool. So now I know your name. So when I read off comments now, I'll say it right. Yeah. So basically all he's adding to that deal is 2 second-round picks and John. We want to get rid of John anyway, so it's really not that bad.
We got to find a home for him because even if we keep him, he's just going to slow down the offense or just he has to be a focal point in the offense. So even if he does come off the bench and you have bench players, I don't want him to be the focal point of our offense because he can't really run. That's what we want to do. And he can't play a lick of defense. And you can't play him and Holmes together. So you got to just try to get rid of him for whatever.
If we don't make any moves on draft day and draft Monk at 3, would you consider that a successful draft?
I would.
I wouldn't hate it if we took Monk at 3. I wouldn't hate it at all.
I wouldn't either. I'd be fine with that.
It is a little bit of a reach, but if that's the guy they want, What if the Lakers take Jackson? Do we take Ball? That's an interesting question.
Here's what I'm going to say, unless you have something to –
Go ahead.
I would take Ball, draft him, but then try to listen to Carl and try to trade him because he doesn't fit in this offense. He's very ball dominant. Can he work off the ball? Yes. But him and Ben Simmons, I feel like are kind of the same player. They can't really shoot. They're the distributors.
Well, Ball can shoot.
A little. It's a funky shot. He can shoot.
I think he's a pretty good shooter, honestly. It just looks bad.
I don't know. The way he draw, I just don't know if he'll be able to get that off in the – I think he'll have to alter it in the NBA.
Let's look at the free throw percentage. Hold on. Because that's what it's really about, right? Free throw percentage.
But to answer the viewer's question, I definitely try to just draft him and then trade him because I think he brings a lot of value. More than, let's say, if Josh Jackson was there and we tried to trade or like a Malik Monk. Because you can build around him.
He did only shoot 67.3% from the line. So
what worries me is you've seen him shoot. He drags it up. And then it shoots across his face. And
it's like the Jim Furyk golf swing. As long as it works.
Yeah, no, you don't try to fix, but I think he's going to have to alter it a little bit because try to get that over the defender.
It takes a little while to get it off. Is that
right? It's slow. It's very slow motion because he's kind of pulling it up, and it's not like it's a quick release like Malik Monk, Ray Allen, Steph Curry. It's going to take a little time, and it's going to give defender time unless he's got a ton of space in front of him, and they just dare him to shoot. Then he'll be okay.
Yeah. I love how the Bitter Birds fans are smarter than the Philly influencer fans.
Well, they get it. You guys know basketball.
It's like
it's refreshing.
I was shocked. Why wouldn't you want to trade Dario for Fultz? What?
Are they not in love with Fultz?
I don't know.
Did they give any explanation to why they didn't?
It just basically they'd be stupid to get. It was just basically it's moronic to get rid of Saric. Whatever. So
basically, no foundation of the argument at all. They're just
that's the only reason why I did this show was because of such the negative reaction of the comments on that post. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. It was basically 90%. Actually, I was the only one for trading Saric.
Wow.
All the comments.
Wow, I did. There was a lot of negativity on there.
I was like, holy shit.
I'm very baffled by that. I'm surprised, really.
I love the one comment about, well, only the fake fans want to trade Dario. The fans that didn't watch the Sixers the last couple of years. Well, Kyle has season tickets the last 2 years. I think he's more of a fan than fucking anybody.
Yeah, I think I watched him every game, so I think not a fake fan, and but that's the whole thing about going against somebody's opinion. So you get
Yeah, it's
attached for it.
Yeah, it's like it's back to calling everyone an idiot and shit. Like
Internet trolls.
Yeah, hiding behind their keyboard. So that's that. All right, let's see. Let's see if we have any more comments. Where's it at, dude? I have so many tabs open. Let's see, where are we at? We should try and get Frank Jackson from Duke. He's pretty good.
Interesting because he didn't play that much there at Duke, and I know he decided to come out. He's a freshman. I didn't really get to see him play that much. Is he a ball dominant point guard? Is he more or less a shooting? Is he a scoring guard first?
I'm trying to remember because I don't know if I really saw him play that much.
He didn't get a lot of minutes, and I was surprised that he came out. I'm surprised he didn't go back for his sophomore season and try to put up numbers so he could go higher in the draft.
I mean, I'd take him in the second round. I mean, he just had a foot surgery, so that's gonna hurt his stock, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of who I'm trying to compare him to. I don't know. Well, I'll get back to him. What about Tatum?
At 3?
I know you like Tatum. I'm not a big Tatum guy.
I like his offense, but his ability to not play defense scares me because of the whole Ja situation. And I think defensively, he's on Ja's level. And he really needs to work on his three-point shooting. So I'd have to say no. He's a great ISO scorer. I like how fluid he can, run an offense and do ISO ball, but that's a lot of Melo right there. Melo is very good at ISO ball, but when you throw him in a team situation, he kind of disappears.
Yeah.
So
back to Jackson. I mean, how tall is he? I'm trying to he doesn't seem like he's that big, but
I think he's 6'1".
Okay, so I think I feel like he's more of a 2 guard than a 1 because he can shoot it a little bit.
Can he?
I'm not really giving a good scouting report. I got to watch him.
I don't know too much about him. I just know he was a freshman that didn't get that many minutes at Duke, and he declared for the draft. They're still saying he might. Is he definitely coming in? Because I read that he still might go back to school.
I don't know about that. I don't know. He is 6'3", actually.
Okay, so he's decent size.
He's actually taller than I thought. That's Malik Monk's size. He's 6'4". So, okay, I was completely wrong.
Does the commenter have any input about this player from Duke? Or did he just pose the question and that was...
I like Tatum more than Jackson. He's a lot like Melo.
I can get behind that.
He's like Melo because of the mid-range.
Right. And I think Melo played a little bit better defense than Tatum coming out.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching Frank Jackson. It's just tough for me to think about him long enough to get a scouting report,
If he's there in the second round, we have 4 of them. Definitely take a flyer on him. We need guard depth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm definitely in on taking guards on the second round. That's fine.
So, okay. So, all right. That's basically it. I'm not seeing any more comments. So, all right.
You think, go ahead.
I was about to get into final thoughts unless you got something to say.
No, I was going to give you my final thought.
Go ahead.
You think that kid from North Carolina, Jackson, will fall into the second round, or you think he's like a mid-round first rounder?
Mid-round first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So,
yeah, I don't know if I really want him though. I don't know. He's okay, I guess.
I like his shooting ability. He's long. I like his shooting ability. I think he'd fit good in our running gun system.
Got that floater down, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
if you can master the floater, dude, you can have a career in the NBA.
Yeah. Well, De'Aaron Fox has that floater down.
I would love Fox on this team, man. If we can somehow land the Kentucky backcourt or get Jackson and Monk, if we don't decide to trade up to number 1 and get Fultz. Dream scenario is Fultz. That's that's my number one priority. If we can jump up and get Fultz, that would be the best. But if we can somehow get back up into there and land those two, look out. We could be scary for the next 12 years.
I know you guys aren't big on Dennis Smith, but if we could trade Okafor and a few second-rounders for the 5th pick and draft Monk at 3, that'd be great. It's going to take a lot more than that to get up to 5, though.
And it's the Kings. Remember that, guys. They really want to do dealings with us.
That is true. That is true. We could fleece them again.
Get Vladi on that drink. Call Sam over there in Palo Alto. Tell him to get Vladi a little sauce so Brian Colangelo could just take advantage of him. Because sober Brian Colangelo will just mess up and stupidly give away our team for nothing. Yeah, take your 2019 pick back. The Lakers pick for Buddy Hield. Do it.
Oh,
Darren Collison. Throw him in there, too.
Oh, man. I guess Buddy Hield must remind Vladi of, like, Peja or something.
I don't hate Buddy Hield. I really like him. I just think he's in a worse situation now because he's thought to be the main guy out there. I don't think he's a superstar, a focal point of an offense or a team. He's like a second or third guy.
Yeah, I didn't like Buddy Hield. I didn't think he was a guy that could like really consistently get a shot off at the NBA level. I don't think he's like that athletic, you know. Yeah, it's not like a Malik Monk, you know.
And he keeps getting compared to Buddy Hield, which is driving me nuts because Buddy Hield really can't dribble drive and take it to the 10. He literally just relies on his shot. And Vladi even – I can't believe he even said this. He compared Buddy Hield to Steph Curry. He said he sees a lot of Steph Curry in Buddy Hield.
I don't
either. And I thought that was like –
I see more Steph Curry and Malik Monk.
Me too, but I still like Buddy Hield. It's a shame he went to Sacramento, and I think his career is going to be hurt out there. I think he's going to hurt his development.
Yeah. Look at the comments one more time. Adrian, thoughts on Frank Mason III? Did we talk about Frank Mason III? I guess not.
No, we did not.
Frank Mason III was always underrated in college. Like it was didn't he win Player of the Year? That's crazy. Dude, I like Frank Mason III. He's a bull, man. You can get to the 10. I like him. I'd love him in the second round. I'd take Frank Mason over a lot of guys in the second round. I will watch Frank Jackson play. I will. I'll watch some Duke games.
Did you land him with our second round pick, or do you think he'd be there with our second or
Jackson?
Yeah. Would you take him with the 39th pick?
Yeah, sure.
Be the top guy in our second round?
Frank Jack, I mean, who knows? He might be a late first.
No, not Frank Jackson. I'm sorry. Frank Mason. Yeah, Frank Mason III.
Yeah, I like Frank Mason.
I do. He's got a lot of heart, and I think he is a bulldog.
Gritty, yeah. He'd fit in Philly. Mm-hmm. He's basically a black version of T.J. McConnell.
Except a lot better.
Except better because he's black. So there you go. There's my racism against white Americans again. So all right, my final thought. I really got nothing other than, you know, it's really not crazy at all to trade Dario if you want to get Markelle Fultz. That's back to that. But our fans are smart, so you know, they're not acting like Philly influencer people. So I was just like really shocked by that. If I tried to pull this video on Philly influencer, I'd take a lot of heat for it.
Hey, you're gonna take a lot of heat either way if you differ an opinion from people, regardless.
That's true.
But I have a second final thought real quick.
All right, go
real
ahead.
quick. After this draft, if it really doesn't bode well for Brian Colangelo and we completely just fall out, do you think he's on the hot seat? Do you think he'll get fired?
I think they're going to like try and stick it out with him, unfortunately.
I think his daddy will use his pull and try to give him a little bit more breathing room. Because I think so.
He's so gonna, dude. He's so gonna screw this up, man. I'm scared we're gonna spend too much money this offseason.
Yeah.
Like I'm really reluctant on spending a lot of money because I want to use that money to lock up our core when they're gonna be free agents. It's really simple.
I'm with you there, 100%. And that's a video for next time too about locking up our core guys because one of them is coming up.
Yeah, we're getting there. But that's for another show. For Kyle Gaffner, I'm Adrian Fedke. We are out. Peace.
Later, guys.
Nelson Aguilar sucks.
Yes, he does.